Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome everyone to our CAS 60 New Features webinar. My name is Andy, and I'll be the one presenting today. So in this webinar, we're going to cover the new features that we've released in our May update. So I'll go through those features with you in detail and show you what we've added and how you can make use of those features. So let's get started. So during the webinar, if you've got any questions, feel free to type that into the Q&A section. So we'll try our best to answer your question during the webinar or at the end of the webinar. So let's get started. So to have a look at a list of all features that we've released, the best place to go to is our community. So from CAS 360, you can click on the community icon up here. It will then bring you to this community. And you can see all our topics here. You can filter by seeing all the update notices. And you will see that all the release notes are listed in here. And this one, May 2022, is the latest one. And inside here, this is the full notes of all the things that we've released in that release. So you can see we've got the core functions that's shared across all jurisdictions. And there's some jurisdiction-specific features. And all our webinars will be uploaded here as well, including today's one. So at the end of this session is being recorded. It will be uploaded into this community, and it will also be sent to you by email. So you will receive a link to access all these webinars again. Or if you just want a list of all the previous webinars that we've done, you can go to the community and search by the webinar tags, and then you can see all the previous webinars that we've done. So last week we've done the Singapore introductory training, so that one should be uploaded very soon. Okay, so let's dive into our new features. So the first one that I'd like to show you is this company label search that we've added into the company selection screen. So in this company selection screen, so you can add labels to your companies. And I've known some of our clients, they actually have quite a lot of labels. They have like more than 20 to 30 labels. And sometimes it might be a bit hard for them to find a specific label. So what we've added here is the ability to search and select. So you can search by anything, and then it will show you the results that matching your search terms, and then you can just select the labels from there. So hopefully that can help some of you to search and select labels easier. And one of the big features that we've added in our May update is the ability to prepare company registration forms and documents for Singapore companies. So to access that function, you go to Company Registrations tab. And then from here, this list will show you all the companies that you have added in this screen. So you can see I've got 2 that I've already added here. So to add a new company in this screen, what you need to do is just click on that green button there, Company Registration. And then from here, you can choose if you want to prepare documents for an Australia company or Singapore company. So I'll choose Singapore here and click Continue. And then you will be brought to this screen here. So we've got a step-by-step guide for you to enter all the information that's required for that company. So let's go through each tab together. So the first one's the company name, and then the company type, company class, and financial year end date, and the financial year period, and the activities. So you can search by code or you can search by the description. And here's a field for you to add the user description. So you can add the primary and secondary activity here. And then it's the registered office address. So this is a search field that searches through your CAS 360 database. Or if you need to add a new address to the system, you can click here. And then you can just add the address like how you would do normally. So you can either search for an existing address that you've used before or create a new address. And then the office's information. So once again, this is a search field that searches through your existing contacts in CAS 360. So you can search and select any existing contacts that you already have. Or if it's a new client, you can always click here and then create that contact on the spot. And then you select what position that office has been appointed to. So you can add multiple offices easily from here. And then the shareholders information. So once again, this is the same search field to search through existing contacts. And if the shareholders are held on behalf of the trust, then you will toggle this option on and enter the trust name in here. And you select the share class that's been allotted. If there's any subclass, then you selected it here. If there's no subclass, then you leave it blank. And then the currency, number of shares, and the amount of issued share capital for that allotment, and the amount of paid up capital for that allotment. And then click save. So if you need to add another shareholder, then you just repeat the same steps. So I've got a question here asking what's this meeting status. So it is the default meeting status for the members meeting. So if you set a shareholder as chairperson, then this person will be the default chairperson that appears in the members meeting minutes. Attendee just means it's a normal attendee that attends the meeting. And then there's just different types of meeting status that will appear in your members meeting document. And then the auditors. Very straightforward, this one. And the type of constitution. So once you've added all the information, there's a summary page for you to double check and make sure all the information has been entered correctly. So you can always double check this from this screen. If everything's okay, then you can click Save and Close or click Save and Prepare. So if you click Save and Close, it will just save and close this screen. And then you can click on this Prepare Pre-Incorp document to prepare the documents. So if you click Save and Prepare, then it will just bring you directly to this document production screen. So when you add a new company registration, you don't have to add all the information at once. So let's say you've added like all the addresses, offices, but you need to confirm some details of the shareholders. You can always save at any point and come back to continue later. So you don't have to enter everything before you save the screen. You can always save in the middle and come back and click Options and Edit to continue your data entry. Okay, so once you've entered all the information, everything's correct. So this is the document production screen for you to prepare the documents. So this is the list of pre-incorp documents that you can prepare. So this includes the consent to act form 45 and all these forms. So declaration of compliance form 6, certificate of identity form 7, form 18, 24, 44, and 49. So all these forms will be filled in for you already. So all the information that you've entered in the system, we will be using that to prepare these forms. So you shouldn't have to enter anything into these forms yourself. So we should be able to pick up all the information from the data that you've entered into the screens before. So let's just preview a few forms for you to have a look. This one, the consent to act as secretary. Application for shares. And then the default constitution template that we have. And some of these forms, so the shareholders return of allotment form. So you can see all these amounts are calculated and filled in for you correctly. So from here, you can toggle on the forms that you want to prepare and just toggle off the ones that you don't want. And then from here, it's the same operation that you have in any other document production screen. So you can either click download all, which will combine all these documents into one PDF file, or you can click send and send those documents directly to your clients through CAS 360. Like that. So all these documents and things are already available in CAS 360. So you can always just try it out and have a play with it. So now I've downloaded the pre-incorp documents for that company. So what you can do next is you can send those documents to your clients, have them sign and return to you, and then register the company in this file. So once the company is registered, so if you've just added the company in here and prepare the pre-incorp documents, so the company status will still be awaiting registration in CAS 360. So at this point, the company will not be added to your company list yet. So it stays in the company registration screen until you mark that company as registered. So from this company registration screen, you click on Mark Company as Registered, and then it will ask you to input the UEN and the incorporation date. And click Proceed. So once you've marked the company as registered, you can then go ahead and prepare the post-incorp documents. So post-incorp documents include the first director's minutes. So like this. And declaration of company law trader. And the EGM minutes, share certificate. So these are the post-incorp documents. So once you've marked the company as registered, that company will then be added to your company selection list. So now that company will appear in this list. Okay, so that's the company registration document production process. The next feature that I want to show you is the Singapore Auditor documents. So in our last update, we've added the ability to prepare auditor appointments and resignation documents. So if you go to the relationship tabs of a company, so this screen is where we save the auditor's information. So from here, if the status is appointed and if you click Save and Prepare Documents, it will then bring you to the document production screen to prepare documents for that auditor's appointment. So it includes the consent to act as auditor and the director's meeting minute to appoint that auditor. And a company change summary to report that change. And a member's minute for that as well. So we have added document support for appointed status, resigned status, and removed status. So each of these status will have their corresponding documents. So if you're preparing a resignation, then we will have the auditor resignation letter. And the company change summary that shows the date of cessation. And the meeting minutes about that resignation as well. So that's the audited documents. Okay, so the next feature that we've added is the share transaction screen improvements. So we've updated some of our share transaction screens to make data input easier for our users. So if you remember previously, when you add a share transaction, you will always have to create a share type. And for every allotment that has a different amount, you will have to create a new share type. And when you do share transfers, you will have to then select from that list of share types. So we've simplified that a bit and reworked some of these fields. So now when you add an allotment, what you do is you select the allottee. So this part's the same. And then for the share information, you select the share class from a set list. So either ordinary, preference shares, other, or treasury. And you select the subclass if that exists. And then the currency. And then from here, you directly input the amount of issued share capital and amount of paid up share capital for that allotment. So for example, if the allotment's $1 per share, then you can just put 1,000 issued share capital and 1,000 paid up share capital in there for those 1,000 shares. So that helps you with the rounding issue. So for example, if you are allotting like 3 shares and the share capital is for $10, so you don't have to put like 3.3333, just put 10 in there. And then when we fill in the forms, we'll do the calculation of the per share value for you. So if it's unpaid or partly paid, then you just put the amount that's paid in here. So for example, if it's issued for 10 but only 6 is paid, then you just put 6 in the paid up share capital. So basically, it's a very similar process as how you would have entered that information when you file that information in the BIS file. If you've added a share that's not fully paid, and then this column here will say fully paid no, and if you hover over that, then you will see the total amount paid and total amount unpaid. If it's a fully paid share, then it will say fully paid, and total amount unpaid would be 0. So if you're doing a share transfer, so you will see in here, it will show you how many shares that transferor has and the share capital associated with those shares. We've also updated our members register to reflect that information. So in the share register, you will see the total amount paid and total amount unpaid in the share register. Okay. So another thing that we've updated in our release is the dividend documents. So you can add dividends from here. So we've updated all our documents to remove any references to the imputed credits that's only applicable for Australian companies. So we removed all that and made our dividend statements like this. Hopefully you can all hear me and see my screen clearly. Okay, yep. So I was showing you the new function that we've added for reappointing registrable controllers. So the registrable controller screens are just here. So previously we already had the ability to add registrable controllers. So you can always add them from this screen. So what we have added. Okay. Okay, hopefully you all can hear me fine. Sorry about that. Okay, so and then from go to options. Hello, what about now? All good? Okay, I'll continue now. Yeah, if there's any problem, just let me know in the chat. Sorry about that. Okay, so to reappoint a registrable controller, instead of editing the dates and things, we've added a very simple button now for you to prepare the reappointment and prepare the documents for it. So open up this screen, click on options for the one that you want to reappoint, and just click on the button reappoint. And then you can put in the reappointed date here and put in any notes that you want and click on save and prepare. And then it will bring you to the document production to prepare the confirmation letter for that reappointment. And then you can download that or send that from here. So if you have added a reappointment, if you go to options and click on appointment history, it will show you a list of all the previous appointment dates in here. So let's say if you've reappointed the registrable controller multiple times, you should see each of the appointment dates in here in this appointment history screen. Okay. So the next feature that I would like to show you is the ability to send the Form 45 and 45B for digital signing. So in our last update, we've added the ability to send Form 45 and Form 45B using one of our electronic signing integrations. So if you want to know more about how our digital signing integrations work, you can always go to our help file. So we've got some help articles that go through the whole process of how you can link the accounts and the process of how to send the document and how it will look like. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just show you how this will look like when it's sent to your client and how your clients will sign those documents. So I'll use this Form 45 and 45B as an example. So in this document production screen, if you've got electronic signing enabled, if you click on electronic signing options button, from here, it will list out which signatory will need to sign what document. So for example, here, Andy needs to sign these 5 documents. So these 5 documents are enabled for digital signing. Okay, and then you can click send. And this is the email preview screen. So you can add more text here or edit anything, or you can go through the settings screen to edit the template that's used for this digital signing. So if everything's good, then you can click send. Oh, my account's limit exceeded. It's okay, I've got another sample that I've prepared before. So all the documents that you've sent from CAS 60 can be tracked in this outbox screen. So all the emails that you've sent out can be found here. And the clients will receive an email like this. So they will receive an email with a link to access the document. So when they click on this link, then they will be brought to the digital signing provider's website to sign the document. And then your client can go through that document. And because the system's already tagged the document automatically, so what your client will need to do is just click on sign and then just sign from here, like that. And then the document will be sent. So a signed copy of the document will automatically get attached in CAS 360. So once everything's signed by your client, it will automatically come back to CAS 360 and the document status will say signed by client. And if you go to option attachments, you will see the signed copy in here. So this is an example for the Form 45. So you can find the original document in here. So this is the original document that's sent out. And the signed copy will be attached in CAS 360 automatically as well. And you will also receive a notification saying the document has been signed. So this is how the digital signing process works in CAS 360. Okay. So the next thing that I would like to show you is inside the contact screen. So we have updated the way that we save Singapore ID types. So previously, so this is the old way, when you add Singaporean as a nationality, we've got a toggle here for you to select if it's a citizen or if it's a PR. So we've removed that from this nationality screen. So now what you are able to do is you add the nationality in here, but in the identification section, you can choose between SG NRIC citizen or SG NRIC permanent resident. So that way you don't have to set the nationality as Singaporean to add that contact as a Singapore PR. So now they can be done in the ID section instead. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next feature. So in our last update, we have added 2 new templates into our document list. So for the directors meeting minute resolution and the members meeting minute resolution, we've added a single column option in here. So other than the previous master template we had, we've now added a new master single column template for these 2 documents. So let me show you how it looks. So by default, if you haven't changed anything, it will use the master like 2 column ones. If you haven't changed any of the settings, this is the one that you have, like the 2 column one. If you haven't changed anything, this is what you have. But now you have the ability or the option to choose this single column template for the director's meeting minute, which will look like this. So this is the new default single column template. So if you don't want to go to options and choose to use that every time, what you can do is you can go to the document template screen, find that document, and choose the one that you want as default. So you can go to options and click set as default. So the ones that you've set as default will be the one that's automatically selected when you open up the document production screen. So for example, I'm setting this one as default. What's going to happen is whenever I see that document in document production, it will choose that document for me as the default. So you can choose your uploaded ones as default as well. It doesn't have to be a master one. So for example, here I've got 2 extra templates that I've created and uploaded. I can set those ones as default as well. So you can see by default, it's selected the one that I've predefined in the settings screen. Okay. So the next feature that I'd like to show you is in this officer's screen. So in the options here, so now we've added the ability to quickly prepare a register of a certain position in here. So previously, we grouped all these into one register. So you have to always prepare them all at once. So now you've got the ability to just prepare, for example, like the register of directors or just the register of secretaries from this option screen. So if you want to prepare the register for all positions, you can still go to the report screen and do that from here. But what we've added in our last update is just a quick way for you to prepare a register for a specific position within a company. So I've got a question here about asking what is the company report. So a company report is like a snapshot of all the information of a company. So I'll just bring up one as an example for you. So this is a company report, basically a report of every information that you've saved with that company. So all the addresses, offices, members, capital, activities, and a document history. Okay, so the next thing that I'd like to show you is a small change that we've added in this screen. So if you've used the annual return filing functions in CAS GXT, you would have noticed the authorization expires after a certain period. So that's something set by SingPass. So as a security measure, they don't allow any of this authorization to go more than 30 minutes. So all the authorization will automatically expire after 30 minutes. So what we've updated in this screen is now we've added the expiry date and time in this screen, so you will know exactly when this current session will expire. Like this. So it will show you when exactly it will expire. So if it expires and if you still need to continue with your lodgement, so what you would need to do is just you just have to authorize that again. So now we've added the expiry date and time here. So hopefully that will help some of you to make things clearer for you, as you will know when exactly this current session will expire. Hey. Yep. So that covers up all the list of items that I have here. So hopefully you all like the features that I'm showing you. So all the features that I'm showing you just now is already available in your CAS GC system. So feel free to play around with them and let us know if you think any other things that we should improve or make better. So if you've got any feedback or anything, you can always use this feedback button up here. So all these feedback will be directly sent to our product team and will be added to our wish list. So if you've got any requests or things that you think we can improve or functions that you would like to be added, you can always use these feedback options here. Okay, so I'll be staying around to answer a few questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type that in the Q&A section and we'll try our best to answer those questions for you. And if you don't have any questions, our session will end here. Thank you for joining and hope to see you again in our next webinar. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I've got a question here from Selena. So passport expiry reminder, it's something that we're working on. So we're going to create a report and possibly a reminder system for that. So that's something that we have work in progress. It's not currently available yet, but that's something that we're working on and should be available quite soon. Okay, and another question from Selena. So previously, you've already added the company information in company section, not in company registration. And I assume you want to prepare the company registration documents, right? So there isn't a way that you can do it from here, but you can email me. So send me the name of the company, and then we should be able to add that company back to the company registration screen for you. So you don't have to re-enter the information. Just send me the company name that you would like to have appeared in this company registration screen. And yeah, we can add that for you and you can prepare the documents from there. And I'm just typing my email address there just in case you don't have it. I'm going to keep this session open for like 5 minutes or so. If you've got any question, feel free to keep typing them in. I'll stay back and answer them. So if you don't have any other questions, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all again for coming. We're going to have a few more webinars on different topics coming very soon. So yeah, keep checking our space and hopefully see you again in our next webinar. Thank you, everyone, and have a good afternoon and evening.